Hello. Welcome back. I'm glad you could make it. So, you may have noticed I forgot to upload a podcast episode last Tuesday. I completely forgot. The day before, I had a day off of work, so my schedule was different, and I just completely forgot. It was like 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, I was at the gym, and I realized, like, midway through, I was like, oh, I completely forgot. But it was already 10 o'clock, and I still had, like, an hour left, and I was like, I'm not gonna be recording a podcast episode at, like, 11 o'clock at night, because then I would still have to, talk for an hour, and then get it all uploaded, and put together, and edited, and I'm like, I can't do that. So, unfortunately, I did forget, but it was the beginning of the new year. It's been a very hectic holiday, so hopefully you guys can forgive me for that. I did not mean to forget. It just, things happen, and I hope you guys can forgive me. I'm very sorry. I'm messing with my volume right now. If the volume's changing, I'm gonna keep it right there, I think. But anyway, I'm very sorry, but we're back now, and today is going to be about Ducati. I wanted to do a bike motorcycle episode because we haven't done one yet. We've done cars, we've done CDL trucks, some, not many, and I want to do some motorcycles because I want a motorcycle very much, but unfortunately it's probably going to be a while before I get one, mostly because I already have 3 cars on the road, and that's kind of expensive, and I don't know if I can afford to also have a bike on the road. And I'd love to, and they look really, really fun, but I just can't, unfortunately, afford it right now. Maybe someday. But, for now, I'll just enjoy the cars I have, because I love the cars I have. And yes, I know this is called car reviews, and this is a bike, but you get the idea. I can basically do whatever I want, because this is my podcast, and I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. So, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. I have lots of goals set for this year. Just muted my mic on accident. I have lots of goals set for myself for this year that I'm hoping to hit by the end of the year, of course. And if you have goals as well, good luck. Don't give up. And you got this. This year just feels good already. I mean, I know we're as of the day I'm recording this, like 4 days in. We're 3 days 3 days in, and I'm like, man, this year just feels great, but I don't know, something about it just seems promising. It seems like the year. This seems like the year for me. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's like the year for my content creation that's gonna blow up, or the year that my going of the gym is going to blow up and pay off, but either way, this year just feels good so far. It feels like a promising year. So, without further ado, I hope you all had a great New Year and a great Christmas, and let's get right into it. So yeah, if you don't know, Ducati is an Italian motorcycle manufacturing company headquartered in Bologna, Italy. It's spelled like bologna. I'm pretty sure it's actually pronounced bologna. I don't remember. Just kidding. I'm just messing with you guys. I'm just messing. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, there we go. One second. I forgot I could just pause the recording, so I just paused it real quick, and we're back. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, no, it's not bologna, and it's not Bologna, it's Bologna, or Bologna. Look, I've been working really hard today. Bologna. I've been working hard today. I'm very exhausted. Start a new workout routine where I'm working out for about, like, lifting weights for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I do an hour-long treadmill course at, like, level 10 incline at about 3.5 miles an hour, and it hurts, and I've been doing it 3 days straight, and it hurts very much, but you gotta keep doing it, because it's worth it in the end. But anyway, yeah, it's headquartered in Bologna, Italy. The company is directly owned by Italian automotive manufacturer Lamborghini, whose German parent company is Audi, itself owned by the Volkswagen Group. In 1926, Antonio Cabarelli Ducati and his three sons, Adriano, Marcello, and Bruno, founded Società Scientifica Radiobrevetti Ducati, or SSR Ducati, to produce vacuum tubes, condensers, and other radio components. In 1935, they had become successful enough to enable construction of a new factory in the Borgo Panigale area of the city. Production was maintained during World War II, despite the Ducati factory being a repeated target of Allied bombing. It was finally destroyed around 40 consolidated B-24 Liberators on 12th of October 1944 as part of the United States Army Air Force's Operation Pancake, which involves some 700 aircraft flying from airfields in the province of Foggia. I literally researched how to pronounce this because I forgot, and then I just forgot again. It's Foggia. That's right. It's Foggia. It's Foggia. It's Foggia. It's Italian. I knew how to say it, and then I forgot just now reading it. I completely forgot. Nonetheless, it maintained production. Meanwhile, at the small Turnes from SIATA, Società Italiana per Applicazioni Tecniche Auto e Viorte, Aldo Farinelli began developing a small pushrod engine for mounting on bicycles. Barely a month after the official liberation of Italy in 1944, Saita announced its intention to sell this engine, called the Cucchiolo, or Succhiolo, Italian for puppy, in reference to the distinctive exhaust sound, because I guess it sounded like a puppy. I haven't heard it myself, but the first Succhiolos were available alone to be mounted on standard bicycles by the buyer. However, businessmen soon bought the little engines in quantity and offered complete motorized bicycles units for sale. In 1950, after more than 200,000 Cucchiolos had been sold in collaboration with Saita, the Ducati firm finally offered its own Succhiolo-based motorcycle. The first Ducati motorcycle was a 48cc bike weighing 98 pounds with a top speed of 40 miles an hour. That's kind of crazy for a bike that weighs less than 100 pounds, though. Had a 50mm carburetor, giving it just under 200 miles per gallon. That's pretty crazy. Ducati soon dropped the name in favor of 55M and 65TL. That's what they named them. When the market moved towards larger motorcycles, Ducati management decided to respond, making an impression at an early 1952 Milan show, introducing their 65TS cycle and cruiser, which was a four-stroke motor scooter, called the cruiser. Despite being described as the most interesting new machine in the 1952 show, the cruiser was not a great success, and only a few thousand were made over a 2-year period before the model ceased production. In 1953, management split the company into two separate entities, Ducati Messiana SPA and Ducati Elettronica, an acknowledgement of its diverging motorcycle and electronics product lines. Dr. Giuseppe Montano took over as head of Ducati Messiana SPA, and the Borgo Panigale factory was modernized with government assistance. By 1954, Ducati Messiana SPA had increased production to 120 bikes a day. In the 1960s, Ducati earned its place in motorcycling history by producing the fastest 250cc road bike then available, the Mach 1. Let me get you a picture of the Mach 1. Bam. There it is, the Mach 1. Pretty cool looking in my opinion. I mean, I like the little design. I mean, it looks dangerous. It looks very dangerous, but most motorcycles do. But this has like nothing. I mean, you're barely even like really held into the bike. You're just kind of sitting on it. A lot of bikes, or a lot of newer bikes anyway, you kind of like sit into the bike so it holds you better. This, you're literally just sitting on it like a seat and then leaning forward to get to the handles. I mean, that's pretty crazy. In the 1970s, Ducati began producing motorcycles with the large displacement V-twin engines, which Ducati branded as L-twin for their 90-degree angle. And in 1973, introduced their trademarked desmodromic valve design. In 1985, Cagiva bought Ducati and planned to rebadge Ducati motorcycles with the Cagiva name, or Cagiva. It's probably Cagiva, honestly. By the time the purchase was completed, Cagiva kept the Ducati name on its motorcycles. 11 years later, in 1996, Cagiva accepted the offer from Texas Pacific Group and sold a 51% stake in the company for $325 million. Then, in 1998, Texas Pacific Group bought most of the remaining 49% to become the sole owner of Ducati. In 1999, TPG issued an initial public offering of Ducati stock and renamed the company Ducati Motor Holding SPA. TPG sold over 65% of its shares in Ducati, which is Texas Pacific Group, by the way, leaving TPG the majority shareholder. In December of 2005, Ducati returned to Italian ownership with the sale of Texas Pacific's stake to Investustrial Holdings, the investment fund of Carlo and Andrea Bonomi. In April of 2012, Volkswagen Group's Audi subsidiary announced its intention to buy Ducati for 860 million euros, which is $1.2 billion. Volkswagen chairman Ferdinand Piëch, a motorcycle enthusiast, had long coveted Ducati and had regretted that he passed up an opportunity to buy the company from the Italian government in 1984. Analysts doubted a tiny motorcycle maker would have a meaningful effect on a company the size of Volkswagen, commenting that the acquisition has a trophy feel to it and is driven by VW's passion for nameplates rather than industrial or financial logic. Italian car luxury brand Lamborghini was strengthened under Volkswagen ownership. Audi AG's Automobili Lamborghini SPA subsidiary acquired 100% of the shares of Ducati Motor Holding SPA on the 19th of July 2012 for $909 million. Since 1926, Ducati has been owned by a number of groups and companies. From 1926 to 1950, it was owned by the Ducati family. From 1950 to 1967, it was owned by government Istituto per la Ricostruzione Industriale Management. From 1967 to 1978, government EFIM Management owned it. From 1967 to 1973, it was by Giuseppe Montano, and then from 73 to 78, which is the rest of the government management, it was Cristiano de Escher. From 78 to 85, it was the VM Group. From 85 to 96, it was the Cagiva Group. From 96 to 2005, it was Texas Pacific Group, which was U.S.-based, obviously. Ownership and going public, headed by CEO Federico Minoli from 1996 to 2001, returning for 2003-2007. 2005 to 2008, it was Investustrial Holdings, and then from 2008-2012, it was Performance Motorcycles SPA. It was an investment vehicle formed by Industrial Holdings, BS Investimenti, and Hospitals of Ontario Pension Plan. 19th of July 2012 to now, Automobile Lamborghini SPA owns it. Audi AG acquired 100% of the voting rights of Ducati Motor Holding SPA through Audi's Automobile Lamborghini SPA subsidiary. From the 1960s to the 1990s, the Spanish company Mototrans licensed Ducati engines and produced motorcycles that incorporated subtle differences but were clearly Ducati derived. Mototrans' most notable machine was a 250cc 24 horas, which is Spanish for 24 hours. Or it could be, I'm pretty sure it's horas. Horas? I don't think, I'm not exactly a Spanish speaker here, let's be honest. Ducati is best known for its high-performance motorcycles, characterized by large-capacity 4-stroke 90-degree V-twin engines with a desmodromic valve engine. Ducati branded its configuration as L-twin because one cylinder is vertical while the other is horizontal, making it look like the letter L. Ducati's desmodromic valve design is nearing its 50th year of use. Desmodromic valves are closed with a separate dedicated cam lobe and lifter instead of the conventional valve springs used in most internal combustion engines and consumer vehicles. This allows the cams to have more radical profile, thus opening and closing the valves more quickly without the risk of valve float, which causes a loss of power that is likely when using a passive closing mechanism under the same conditions. While most other manufacturers use wet clutches, which is the spinning parts are bathed in oil and whatnot, Ducati previously used multi-plate dry clutches in many of their motorcycles. The dry clutch eliminates the power loss from oil viscosity drag on the engine, even though the engagement may not be as smooth as the oil bath versions. The clutch plates can wear more rapidly. Ducati has converted to wet clutches across their current product lines. Ducati also extensively uses trellis frame, although Ducati's MotoGP project broke with this tradition by introducing a revolutionary carbon fiber frame for the Ducati Desmondici GP9, which is like one of my favorite Ducatis of all time. Like, let me pull up a picture. Let me find there was a picture right here. This is the RR, so it's, like the more race version, but like this is like my favorite Ducati of all time. Look at how cool that looks. I mean, it's a little bit of a blurry photo, but that's like the coolest looking bike they've ever made in their entire life. Okay, I can't really say that, but it's really cool. I really like it. The chief designer of most Ducati motorcycles in the 1950s was Fabio Taglioni from 1920 to 2001. His designs range from the small single-cylinder machines that were successful in the Italian street races to the large-capacity twins of the 1980s. Ducati introduced the Panta in 1979. Its engine was updated in the 1990s in the Ducati Supersport series. Let me show you what the Ducati Panta looks like. I actually like this style of bike. I mean, I like the current style of bike that's on the screen, but I also like this. This looks cool to me too. That's just like a really special, interesting looking bike, in my opinion. Its engine was updated in the 1990s in the Ducati Supersport series. All modern Ducati engines are derivatives of the Panta, which uses a toothed belt to actuate the engine's valves. Taglioni used the Cavallino Rampante, identified with the Ferrari brand, on his Ducati motorbikes. Taglioni chooses the emblem of courage and daring as a sign of respect and admiration for Francesco Baracca, a World War I fighter pilot who died during an air raid in 1918. R.I.P. That's really cool though that he uses that for admiration. Like that's a cool. I like when things are connected like that. Gives it a little bit more meaning than just a basic design. It's like there's a reason behind what it is, and it's a good, nice reason. In 1973, Ducati commemorated its 1972 win at the Imola 200 with the production model green frame Ducati 750 Supersport. Ducati also targeted the off-road market with the two-stroke Regolarità 125, building 3,486 models from 1975 to 1979. But the bike was not successful. Ducati also targeted the off-road market. I just read that. That's what I just said. In 1975, the company introduced the 860 GT, designed by noted car stylist Giorgetto Giugiaro, which you've heard if you listen to my other podcast. We've heard about him before in the Ferrari podcast. Its angular lines were unique, but raised handlebars made it for an uncomfortable seating position at high speeds and also caused steering issues. The 860 GT's angular styling was a sales disaster, and it was hurriedly redesigned for the 1976 season with a more rounded fuel tank. Let's go ahead and show you what that looked like. Bam! There it is. Which, it says that the handlebars are high, but unless I read that wrong. Raised handle doesn't look that high. They look pretty low to me. But anyway. In 1975, Ducati offered hand-built production racers, the Square Case 750 SS and later 900 SS models. Built in limited numbers, sales of the 900 SS proved so strong and sales of the 860 GT, GTE, and GTS so weak that production of the 900 SS was ramped up and became Ducati's number one selling model. So here's the 750, which actually looks really cool. But I can kind of see why it wasn't the most popular just based on the design, because it's like supercar in the front and then it kind of cuts off in the back here. It's just like seat and that's it. It still looks cool though. I can see why it's oh no. Okay, no, we're good. I thought there was an advertisement playing, but that's just the way the song started. My bad. So yeah, that's the 750, and then let's also show up the 900, which you can definitely see why the 900 was more favored. Looking at this now, it's just like they finished the design. It didn't just like cut. And see how you like hold into the bike right here, and it's not flat like what I was talking about earlier. Like if I'm gonna, oh great, my mouse just died. If I'm gonna get a bike, I want to get one that's kind of designed like this. Sorry, my mouse is back now. It kept like disconnecting. I need to get a better mouse. This one is not great. But the Ducati's liquid-cooled multi-valve 90-degree V-twins made from 1985 are known as Desmoquattro or Desmondromic valve. These included the 851, the 916, 996, and 999, and a few predecessors and derivatives. Let's go ahead and show you what those look like. Here's the 916 right here. I like the wheels. That's a pretty cool, like it looks small, but it looks fun. Like it's like a short-based bike. That looks fun. That's the 916. Let's go ahead and pull up the, where is it? Oh, I'm lost. Okay, the 996. I found it. Also looks very, very cool. Bam. You can see a little bit, it looks a little bit longer kind of in the back. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just delusional. But to me, it looks a little bit longer in the back. And the 999, which looks, it's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but looks a little like the rear end is flat a bit more. It doesn't go angled up as much. Maybe that's just me. But it seems like it's more of a flat base here instead of the pointed rear end like the last one had. But still looks pretty cool. And I like the race liveries on the ones back here. But I don't know. I like them. I like Ducati. I mean, if I'm going to get a bike, there's a good chance I'm going to look for a Ducati. Not for a first bike. Well, maybe. First bike, I'm thinking like a 400. Or like a 4 or a 600. Probably more of a 400. I don't know, because I don't want to get a 400 and be like, dang, this thing's slow. I want something a little bit quicker and then have to sell it and get a 600 like right after I just got one. I've heard some people say not to go for a 1000cc first and to get practice on like a 600 or a 400. But then I've also heard people say, why practice on something slower? Because you're going to want to upgrade. Like, I think a lot of people say that if you're a person who like enjoys driving and likes bikes, if you get a 400 or a 600, you're going to get bored of it because it's kind of slow and you're going to want to buy a 1000. But I've also heard some people say a 600 is like a good middle ground. So I don't know. You know, I'm not a professional on bikes or anything, but I do know it's not necessarily smart to buy a 1000 first because they have very responsive throttles because of how much power you get. So you could very easily like accidentally rev too much in a turn and then just go flying off the bike and into a ditch and get hurt. But I've also heard people say you might as well learn on a 1000 because if that's the one you want to have or you want to keep it, if you learn on it, there's no like buying and selling and all that. You just keep the one you got. But who knows? I probably won't start on a 1000. Also because they're more expensive. So, I mean, that right there is a good enough reason on its own. But, anywho, the Ducati Passo was introduced in 1986 with the Passo 750, followed in 1989 with the Passo 906. The final version came in 1991 with the 907IE, now without the name Passo. The design was from the hand of Massimo Tamburini, who also designed the Ducati 916, which we looked at a minute ago, and the MV Agusta F4. The Passo was typically you love it, you hate it bike. However, at that time, it looked like that all-enclosed bodywork would be the future for all motorcycles. The Passo design was copied for the Moto Morini Dart 400, the Cagiva Fresciata 125. Together with Tamburini's Bimota DB1, they were enormously influential in terms of styling. So first up, we're going to pick up the 907 IE here and show you what that looks like. I'm working a little bit slower here because I cut my finger pretty bad at work today, so I can't like type as easily. So that's the 907 IE right there. Pretty cool. You see the full body, like it's all connected right here, and you can kind of see where you can clip it off, disconnect some pieces. Oh, sorry, my mouse is on the wrong screen. You can see along the line, the body work here, where you can take some bolts off, disconnect things when you need. I also like the mirror, how it's connected to the bike. It looks pretty cool. That's a pretty sweet looking bike. Actually, I do like that a lot. We also had the MV Agusta F4, which, very interesting wheels on this one. Very interesting wheels on here, but I like them. Looks more like what you kind of picture when you think of a sport bike. For me, this is like what comes to mind. Like this design, this kind of style is what comes to mind for me anyway. Maybe it may be different for you, but this is what I picture. And then we also have the Moto Morini Dart 400, which looks... Wow, that's a really blurry picture. Is that really the only picture that exists? I know it's from 1989, but like... It looks like they tried to use some sort of bot or AI to make it look better. Like to make there be less pixels, and this is what they got. But anyway, you can see it looks a lot like the IE. Because it's all connected, except for the mirrors. The mirrors are a little different, but the rest of it's all just put together. So you can definitely see what I was talking about. And let's get the Cagiva Frescia, which you can also see. This one looks kind of interesting. I'm not as much of a fan of this design. Throw that up there. Not as big of a fan. Very interesting. Like I would like to look at it in real life and see it. Look at the little spoiler you got. I know that's not actually what it's for. Not as big of a fan. Still cool. And actually, wow, the mirrors are low. The mirrors are set low for a bike. That's interesting. Normally they're up at the top, so you don't have to like look down. That's interesting. But you got that special edition. You got that soft, damp springs and suspension and all that. But yeah, the unibody kind of design, as you can see, styled from. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, here we go. There's one more unibody style bike. This one looks a little bit better. I think what throws this one off is this front wheel cover thing being connected all the way through. Because you look at this one, it looks a little bit more normal. I think it's that front wheel cover that was throwing off the design. This one doesn't even have mirrors. There's no... Oh, wait, no, they're right here. Just kidding. Found it. I thought that was like a design thing. No, it's right there. It's just small. On the handlebars. That's where they are usually, or they're up here. So seeing them like over here was kind of weird for that last one. But, I mean, I'm not hating it. Still a cool bike. But, yeah. In 1993, Miguel Angel Galuzzi introduced the Ducati Monster, a naked bike with exposed trellis and engine. Today, the Monster accounts for almost half of the company's worldwide sales. The Monster has undergone the most changes of any motorcycle that Ducati has ever produced. Let's take a look at that. The Ducati Monster. Now, this is also a bike style that I don't mind. I mean, it's actually pretty cool looking because you can see it's basically that one we just looked at, just with all of the bodywork stripped off. Except for, like, there's, the gas tank and this little covering here and, like, this piece. But, like, other than that, it's just all the internals. You can see all of them, which I don't mind this bike design either. It's actually pretty cool. I like the way that the radiator curves with the bike. That's really cool. Yeah, most sold bike. I mean, I can see why. It looks pretty sweet. In 1993, Pierre Terblanchi, Massimo Bordi, and Claudio Domenicali designed the Ducati Supermono, a 550cc single-cylinder lightweight catalog racer. Only 67 were built between 1993 and 1997. Let's pull that up. This is pretty cool. I do like this, but you can definitely tell It was not built for street use because there's no headlights. Or no headlight on it. As you can see right now. No headlight. I mean, look at how slick. Those are like super slick tires right there. Look at that rear tire. It's so smooth. Look how smooth that. Definitely not for street use. Definitely for race purposes only. But look at how like curved up the rear end goes. See how it just like whoop. Instead of being like a flat, it really like sits you down into the bike. And you're right up on the gas tank right there. But I do like it. It's cool. It's a cool, nice designed bike. I love the pretty big brakes in the front. It looks sweet. It's a shame they only made 67 of them because I kind of want one. Not that I would drive one. Definitely wouldn't be good for street driving like I just said. In 1994, the company introduced the Ducati 916, which we saw, a water-cooled version that allowed for higher output levels and a striking new bodywork that had aggressive lines, an underseat exhaust, and a single-sided swing arm. Ducati has since ceased production of the 916, supplanting it with the 749 and the 999, which we saw the 999. Here's the 749. I actually like this a lot. I really like the way this looks. It's like a comfort bike mixed with that sport design. See, because it's like it's sporty up here. I really like the way the front looks, and then it's like comfort in the back. It's not quite as sport, but I like it. That's cool. I mean, I'm a little questionable about right here. It looks a little weird. There's a lot of stuff going on in this area, but it looks pretty cool. I really like the front. There's the mirrors that are like mounted to the body, it looks like. But see, they're up near here, the top. You don't have to like look down as much, but you still will, because your eye level is probably about like here when you're riding normally. And then when you duck down, that's when you actually use this windscreen. Help with performance if you're like actually racing it or speeding. But normally your eye height's probably like in this area. Just like a little higher, but I can't get my mouse to go. Hold on, I can move this down. It's probably like up here, I would imagine. Because you're sitting here, then when you're at like a stoplight, you're gonna be sitting up. You're gonna be like up here. I mean, if you're not that short, you're gonna be like up here. So when you're like riding, you're just gonna be like up here. So I mean, you have to look down a little bit, but not as bad as the ones that are like on the handlebars or way down at the bottom, like I was talking about previously. But hey, I'm not a car designer. What do I know? Am I right, guys? Okay, so in 2006, the retro-styled Ducati Pulsmart 1000 LE was released, which shared styling cues with the 1973 750 Supersport, as one of the sports classic series representing the 750 GT, 750 Sport, and the 750 Supersport Ducati motorcycles. Okay, this one, it almost looks kind of funny. It looks like that the top doesn't belong on the bottom. Like it looks like it wasn't originally a part of this frame. Not my favorite design. I don't really like all the extra room in front of the handlebars right here. Like that just seems kind of not really necessary to me. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I feel like they could have made this, if they had one of those front ends where it hugs the handlebars a little bit more, it could have been a little bit of a shorter looking bike. But I don't design these things. I mean, if I did it, it would look like every other bike, and they probably didn't want it to look like that. So that's why it looks different. So good on them. They made it look different. It's definitely interesting. Once again, I don't hate it. I don't really hate any of them, but it looks pretty cool. Speaking of designs, Ducati has produced several styles of motorcycle engines, including varying the number of cylinders, type of valve actuation, and fuel delivery. Ducati is best known for its 90-degree V-twin engine, as we know, used on nearly all Ducati since the 1970s. Ducati brands its engine as L-twin, emphasizing the 90-degree V angle to create product differentiation in competing V-twin motorcycles. I've pretty much just like revisiting this. Ducati has also made other engine types, mostly before the 1970s, with 1, 2, 3, or 4 cylinders operated by pull rod valves and push rod valves, single, double, and triple overhead camshafts, two-stroke, and even at one stage manufactured small diesel engines, which is pretty cool. Many of which were used to power boats, generators, garden machinery, and emergency pumps for like firefighting and whatnot. The engines were the IS series from 7 to 22 horsepower, air-cooled, and the larger twin DM series water and air-cooled. The engines have been found in all parts of the globe. Wisconsin Diesel even assembled and badge engineered the engines in the USA. They have also produced outboard motors for marine use. Currently, Ducati makes no other engines except for its motorcycles. On current Ducati motors, except for the Desmodici and the 1199 Panigale, the valves are actuated by a standard valve camshaft, which is rotated by a timing belt driven by the motor directly. The teeth on the belt keep the camshaft drive pulleys indexed. On older Ducati motors prior to 1986, drive was by solid shaft that transferred to the camshaft through the bevel cut gears. This method of valve actuation was used on many Ducati's older single-cylinder motorcycles. The shaft tube is visible on the outside of the cylinder. Ducati is also famous for using the desmodromic valve system championed by engineer and designer Fabio Taglioni. Though the firm has also used engines that use valve springs to close their valves, in the early days Ducati reserved the desmodromic valve heads for its higher performance bikes and its race bikes. These valves do not suffer from valve float at high engine speeds, thus the engine is capable of far higher revolutions per second than a similarly configured engine with traditional spring valve heads. My bad, it happened. In the 1960s and 1970s, Ducati produced a wide range of small two-stroke bikes, mainly sub-100cc capacities. Large quantities of some models were exported to the U.S. Ducati has produced a single-cylinder, two-cylinder, and four-cylinder, ranging from 48cc to 500cc. For their four-cylinder, they made only 1,500 of their four-cylinder engine with the gear actuated. And then for the pushrod, spring-valved prototype Apollo engine, they only made 2. Which I actually can show you the bike that they put it in, I just realized. Which, it's a bit of a small picture, but I'll try to zoom it up. The quality will go down, but it's in there. I mean, that's a pretty big engine for a bike. I know I think it's a Honda or a Harley Davidson. Sorry, I'm not, what am I, the Joker? Harley Davidson with a V6. There's some bike that has a V6. I can't remember what, but I want to look because it's really cool. Motorcycle with a V6. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was a Honda, but the thing, let me get a picture of it. It looks crazy seeing a V6 in a motorcycle. Oh, Maserati had one too. Oh, I did not know that. Maserati had a V6 motorcycle. Cool. My mouse died again. Love it. It's going to delay this because I can't even pause. Okay, we're good. Oh, that's right. This one has a V6 too. The Goldwing. I forgot about that. The crew leader at my job actually had a Goldwing. He just traded it for something else, but that's right. The Goldwing has a V6 also. Doesn't look as massive in this bike because it's kind of covered up. But I'm trying to find. There's one I'm thinking of. Is it this? I think it's this. It's got to be this one. Let's use this picture because that is a better. Just kidding. Quality's lower. How about this? There we go. Look at how insane this looks. This is the one I was thinking of. Look at how insane this looks. It was a Honda. I was right. That's kind of crazy. I mean, that bike, that's a motorcycle with a V6 in it. That's kind of insane. Realistically, yeah, that's a heavier engine, but that's kind of crazy for a motorcycle. That has more horsepower than my car. Well, 2 of them. Well, 4 of them, but yeah, it's crazy bike. but like, who thought of that? Who was like, who needs a 2-stroke, 3-stroke? Let's put a 6-cylinder V6 engine inside a motorcycle. Like, okay, man. As if they weren't dangerous enough already. A key part of Ducati's marketing strategy since the 1990s has been fostering a distinct community identity and connection with branding efforts, including online communities and loyal regional and national Ducati enthusiast clubs. There are more than 400 Ducati clubs worldwide and 20,000 registered users of the Ducati Owners Club website and 17,000 subscribers to their racing website. Enthusiasts and riders are informally referred to in the motorcycling community as Ducatista, which is 1, or Ducatisti, which is 2, or plural. So you'd be like, I'm a Ducatista. I'm a Ducatista, or we're Ducatisti. That's what you'd say. In North America, there are several Ducati enthusiast organizations with varying degrees of factory sponsorship, such as the Bay Area Desmos Owners Club, located in and around the city of San Francisco, California. Ducati Riders of Illinois, which is drill. Ducati Riders of Illinois, located in Chicago, Illinois, obviously. Desmo, the Ducati Enthusiast Sport Motorcycle Organization, is a North American group affiliated with the Factory Desmo Owners Club. Some groups are focused on vintage Ducatis, while several are based primarily or entirely on email discussion lists or web forums. Ducati has a wide range of accessories, lifestyle products, and co-branded merchandise bearing their logos and designs. The company has a licensing agreement with Toomey Incorporated, launching a collection of 8 co-branded luggage pieces in 2006, sold through both of the brand's retail outlets. Now, we're going to get a little bit into their racing history, and for that, we're going to show, put an actual Ducati on the screen. It's going to be this, which you're going to hear more about in a second. But, a race bike, fine. It's actually Ducati, because, that's what we're talking about. Ducati's racing history with motorsport began with speed records on Cucillo motorized, the motorized bicycle that you put together, factory racers in 1951, followed by, in 1954, with bringing in Fabio Taglioni to found a road racing program with the 100 Grand Sport. As of 2009, Ducati was still pursuing the win on Sunday, sell on Monday business model and spending 10% of company revenues, 40 million euro, on its racing business. Oh man, I pressed the wrong thing. No, I didn't. Okay, so let me copy this image for you right here. So this is the 100 Grand Sport right here. There it is. Bam. Small little bike. Imagine racing in these things. Like, imagine a group of 15 people all on one of these. I bet you that sounded crazy. This little 2-stroke. Yeah, that probably sounded crazy. Ducati rejoined the Grand Prix motorcycle racing in 2003 after a 30-year absence. On the 23rd of September 2007, Casey Stoner clinched his and Ducati's first Grand Prix World Championship. When Ducati rejoined the MotoGP in 2003, MotoGP had changed its rules to allow 4-stroke 990cc engines to race. At the time, Ducati was the fastest bike. In 2007, MotoGP reduced the engine size to 800cc, and Ducati continued to be the fastest with a bike that was marked quicker than its rivals, as was displayed by Casey Stoner on tracks with long straights. For 2009, Ducati Marlboro team campaigned their Desmondici GP9 with former world champions Casey Stoner and Nicky Hayden. Ducati also supplied customer bikes to Pramac Racing with Mika Kallio and Nicolo Canepa riding for the team in 2009. 9-time world champion Valentino Rossi rode for Ducati course for the 2011 and 2012 seasons. Rossi returned to the Yamaha team for the 2013 season. For 2013, Ducati team raced with Nicky Hayden and the Italian rider Andrea Dovizioso. In 2014, Cal Crutchlow teamed up with Dovizioso for the season, and he left at the end of the year. In 2015, Ducati team, under the control of the new race team director Gigi Dall'Igna and the new Desmondici GP15, raced for 2 Italian riders, Andrea Dovizioso and Andrea Lannone. Dovizioso and Lanoon returned for another season, 2016, with Michel Piero as official tester, as well as this Casey Stoner also tested Ducati machinery during the season. In 2017 and 2018, Ducati team rider Andrea Dovizioso, sorry, I just can't read that fast for some reason, raced with his new teammate George Lorenzo, who could be Jorge because who joined the Ducati team. If I spend too much time on it, I'm just gonna hurt my brain. From Yamaha Factory Racing with 2 seasons contract. In 2019, Danilo Petrucci joined Dovizioso at the factory team. In 2022, despite suffering 5 DNFs, 4 of which were individual errors throughout the 2022 season, Bagnaia became the newest MotoGP world champion today in Valencia. The Ducati rider also became the Italian manufacturer's second ever MotoGP champion after Casey Stoner and first in 15 years. And that pretty much sums up the information that I had today. It wasn't too much. It was also a little bit harder to research for some reason. Normally I'm able to find a little bit more information on it. I shouldn't say normally. I have found some episodes or some manufacturers where there wasn't really a lot of information that I could get, so it was hard to even put an episode together for it. But hopefully this one, you learn some new things. It's been a while since I've even recorded a podcast, so I'm a little I'm forgetting the flow. I'm doing the flow all wrong. Got to get back into it. Got to get back into the schedule. I'm going to be more on 1 to 2 per week just because podcasting does take some time and I am very busy during the week, and there are a lot of times where I do have to work late. My schedule is never guaranteed. Like, I'm guaranteed the 8 hours at the beginning of the day, but there's a 90% chance I'm going to stay at least 2 to 3 hours after work every day. That's just the way it works. So sometimes getting this podcast out on time can be difficult for me, but I'm sure you guys understand. Well, I hope you guys understand, and I'm sure you guys are, not going to hate me because of it. But I'm still doing my best because I also have YouTube content that I get out every week, 3 times a week. I have videos uploaded on YouTube, including these. These also go up on YouTube. So I'm working a little hard. I'm usually pretty busy, but I do my best. Things can get hectic sometimes, but I still do enjoy the podcast, even if it's busy, even if it gets hectic. I enjoy making it, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. And on that note, I hope your 2024 is fantastic, and I appreciate you for spending the start of your 2024 with me and my content, as it means very, very much to me, and I appreciate that very, very much. I hope you have a great day, great evening, great afternoon, whenever you are listening, and I will see you guys next time. Be sure to check out my Instagram, my YouTube, and share this podcast with your friends, please. If you're like a teacher or like you teach a automotive class in school, give them some extra credit. Be like, listen to this episode of this podcast, and then fill out information on it. That'd be pretty cool if you want to put that in your class work you got to do. Because I think maybe the students would like it. Hey, what's up, class? What's up, students of? Well, this is 2024. When I'm recording this, I already graduated a while ago. Not that long ago. I'm not that old. I'm going to be 20 this year, if that answers that question, which is kind of insane. The big 2-0. One more year after that, and I can drink alcohol. Woo! Not that I really... it doesn't seem that interesting to me. I'm sure I'll drink it every now and then, but I'm not going to, drink it every day. I'll probably drink it, once or twice a week at most, honestly. But hey, that's just me. I also don't smoke or vape or do anything like that, so... That would make it harder to work out because my lungs would hurt. Anywho, yeah, if you're listening to this in class, if one of the teachers listened, don't do drugs, kids. Don't vape, don't smoke, Don't drink underage. And if you do drink responsibly and don't drive. Anyway, that'll be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for your support. I love you. Peace out.